Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
What a wonderful evening to gather here together to celebrate Shabbat, as well as celebrating our Brotherhood and Sisterhood and all of its members and their involvement in making ours a vibrant and engaged congregation. We're so happy to be celebrating together, and we're going to begin by entering a sense of prayer, a sense of holiness through song. We are very grateful to have our beautiful choir to join Cantor Zark and Mark Doherty today for a wonderful addition to our Shabbat service.
Okay, so we're going to use two things today. We're going to have this for the readings and a prayer book for the prayers. So in your prayer book, page 11, Ki Eshmera Shabbat, page 11. Ki Eshmera Shabbat el Yishmereni. Ki Eshmera Shabbat el Yishmereni. Oti le'omeam.
Shabbat Shalom. Indulge me for just a second. There are members of Sisterhood that I worked with previously who made my job a little bit easier this year, but just so you don't think that this just happens, there are three people, Bob Cohen from Brotherhood, and Debbie Geddes-Niebauer, and Allison Walters from Sisterhood, whose hard work made all this stuff possible today. And also, so that I absolutely don't forget, I want to thank Rabbi Tornberg and Cantor Zork for all their support in the preparation of this service tonight. The dedicated members of Brotherhood and Sisterhood welcome you to our annual Shabbat service. Tonight's theme is Tikva V'Atid, Hope and Future, reflective of Old York Road Temple-Beth's programming initiative for this year, Israel at 75. Although we are aware that many things are happening in Israel today, and they are, that affect us all as Jews, tonight we'll take a brief look at her history across 9 different decades with heartfelt hopes for her future. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines the noun hope as desire accompanied by expectation of or belief in fulfillment. Future is defined as an expectation of advancement or progressive development. Our Siddur, Mishkan Tefillah, tells us in its translation of the prayer for Midyanat Yisrael, O Heavenly One, Protector and Redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Hope permeates everything regarding the state of Israel, going back to the late 19th century, when the spiritual father of Israel, Theodor Herzl, voiced his desire for a Jewish state in his book, Der Judenstaat. Herzl's journey to an evolution as a Zionist far exceeds the scope of tonight's service, but his vision provides the foundation for what we will present this evening. In his book, he wrote, "The Jewish question persists wherever Jews live in appreciable numbers. Wherever it does not exist, it is brought in together with Jewish immigrants. We are naturally drawn into those places where we are not persecuted, and our appearance there gives rise to persecution. This is the case, and will inevitably be so, everywhere, even in highly civilized countries. See, for instance, France, so long as the Jewish question is not solved on the political level." He concluded, "Therefore, I believe that a wondrous generation of Jews will spring into existence. The Maccabees will rise again. Let me repeat once more my opening words. The Jews who wish for a state will have it. We shall live at last as free men on our own soil and die peacefully in our own homes. The world will be freed by our liberty, enriched by our wealth, magnified by our greatness, and whatever we attempt there to accomplish for our own welfare will react powerfully and beneficially for the good of humanity." Theodor Herzl did not live to see the establishment of the State of Israel. He died from complications of heart failure at age 44 in 1904. He never heard David Ben-Gurion, standing before Herzl's picture on the wall, declare Israel an independent state. By the secular calendar, 75 years ago, this coming Sunday. But there are people still alive who remember that day, and we have watched Israel grow, witnessing its trials, tribulations, victories, defeats, and accomplishments. On this Shabbat, we have woven a timeline of Jewish-Israeli history into the fabric of our service, recounting some of the main events in the life of our vibrant homeland, from the time of its founding to the present, to our hope for its future. Our people have lived to see the words of her national anthem come true. As long as within our hearts the Jewish soul sings, as long as forward to the east to Zion looks the eye, our hope is not yet lost. It is 2,000 years old. To be a free people in our land, the land of Zion and Jerusalem. Finally, we would like to acknowledge that this year Men of Reform Judaism is celebrating its 100th anniversary.
Thank you, Steve. It's now my pleasure to call forward Andrea Daly and Lisa Provost, who are our Sisterhood presidents, to light Shabbat candles. We are on pages 1 and 2. I invite you to rise.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'echad mikner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen.
As I invite you to remain standing as we call forward 4 members of Brotherhood to lead us in Kiddush: Art Davis, Mike Krasenstein, Mike Molowitz, and Richard Wright. We are on page 4 and 5. The 4 tenors. We'll find out. We'll find out.
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולק השמיים והארץ, וכל צבאם, ויכל אלוקים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בשבת מכל מלאכתו, כי בשבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher קידשנו במצוותיו ומצוונו, ושבת קדשו ברחמו וברצון קלקלנו, זיכרונו למעשה בראשית, כי כל יום תביאו ויקרא קודש,
You may be seated. We continue in the paper handout that you have.
O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope and for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness for all who joy for all who dwell there. Amen.
So we're going to take you through a timeline of Israel. So we have first Israel timeline, the 40s. In July of 1947, the Exodus, an old American-built packet steamship carrying 4,500 Jewish refugees, sailed for British-administered Palestine from southern France. The ship sailed despite British restrictions on Jewish immigration. She was intercepted by British destroyers just outside of Haifa. A Jewish crew member and 2 passengers were killed, and dozens of others were injured.
The surviving immigrants were put onto a naval ships and sent back to Europe. France refused to accept the refugees, who were then returned to displaced refugee camps in Germany. This event caused a worldwide reaction to the plight of Jewish survivors and support for the idea of a Jewish state. Late in 1947, the UN General Assembly voted to partition Palestine into 2 states, one Jewish, the other Arab. This was rejected by the Arabs.
In May of 1948, the Declaration of Independence of the State of Israel was issued. In Tel Aviv, David Ben-Gurion announced the establishment of the State of Israel. President Truman recognized the provincial Jewish government de facto 11 minutes after its founding. In late 1948, the first census of Israel shows a population of 712,000 Jews and 69,000 Arabs. Operation Magic Carpet brought 45,000 Yemenite Jews to Israel. In early 1949, Jerusalem declared the capital and is divided under Israeli and Jordanian rule. Chaim Weizmann is elected as the first president.
In 1950, the right of return is enacted, granting every Jew in the world the right to settle in Israel. It is published in the Book of Laws. This included people with one Jewish grandparents and their spouses. People had 3 months to decide if they wished to become a citizen. In 1953, the Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial Authority is established to commemorate the Holocaust in the Nazi era. The museum opens 1 year later. It echoes the stories of survivors, honoring Jews who fought against Nazi oppressors and Gentiles who aided the Jews in need. In March 1957,
That's okay. He's so eager to participate. Runs to do a mitzvah.
In March 1957, following the Suez Crisis of late 1956, Foreign Minister Golda Meir announces to the General Assembly, under heavy international pressure, Israel's readiness to withdraw from all Egyptian territories. Within days, Israel withdraws from Sinai and Gaza. UN forces are stationed along the border.
We continue on page 20 with Lecha Dodi in our prayer books. שבתחילה לחמתי לקרקלה בימי שבת לקבלה לחמתי לקרקלה בימי שבת לקבלה כי תוררי כי שתדברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נקרא לחמתי לקרקלה בימי שבת לקבלה לחמתי לקרקלה בימי שבת לקבלה בואי ושלום בתרת בעלה גם בשמחו ובצוחלו תלכי אמסת גולה בואי חלה לחמתי לקרקלה בימי שבת לקבלה לחמתי לקרקלה בימי שבת לקבלה. Page 24, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShoret, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaYakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech, Malachei HaYakim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Arefuni Shalom, Malachei Shalom,
On May 11, 1960, Adolf Eichmann was captured in Argentina by Israeli Mossad agents who brought him to Israel for trial. On December 12, 1961, convicted on 15 counts of crimes against humanity, war crimes, crimes against the Jewish people, and membership in a criminal organization, he was sentenced to death by hanging. Shortly after midnight, on the morning of June 1st, 1962, Eichmann was executed.
The Six-Day War began on June 5th, 1967. On June 7th, Jerusalem was reunited when paratroop commander Colonel Mordechai Mota Gur announced over his radio, Har Habayit B'Yadenu, the Temple Mount is in our hands. On June 28th, Israel officially announced the reunification of Jerusalem. On March 7th, 1969, Golda Meir became prime minister. She remains Israel's first and only female head of government.
Please rise. We are on page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שם רבה, ויעלמד ברכירותי וימליך מלכותי, ויכון מחנכי דכל בית ישראל. הגלה ולזמן קריב, ויאמרו יחי שמי רבם מבורך, לעולם עולם מגלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקדשו. להלה מן כל ברכתו ושירתו, תושבחתה נחמתה, תאמירן בעלמה, ויאמרו אמן. יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה.
We continue with Ma'ariv Aravim together on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvitfuna mishaneh itin, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, Borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom u'mevi layla, umavdil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. לאורך יום
ואהבתך לתסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
Please join in. V'ahavta et Echa v'chol levacha v'chol nafshecha v'chol midecha v'hayu hagorim ha'ele asher anochi tzavcha Hayom Avodecha V'shinaytam V'valecha V'nitvartam Ba'am V'shitecha V'leitecha Uvlechtecha V'aderech Uv'shachpecha Uv'umecha Uv'shartam B'yod V'hayu b'torahcho b'neinecha u'k'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'misharecha v'ma'an tizkaru v'asitem kol mitzvotai v'yizem kedashim le'olechem.
We continue with Micha Mocha on page, who knows the page? Page? No. Page 40. Okay, Mark, you're no good. Micha Mocha Ba'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha Netar Mokodesh, Orat Tehillah, Orat Tehillah, Osei Feleh, Malchutecha, Rahu Avanecha, Makeicha, Lifnei Moshe Miriam, Adonai, Yaakov, והיום יחסק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, ישראל.
During September 5th to 6th, 1972, 11 Israeli athletes are held hostage at the Munich Olympics and eventually murdered, following a botched German rescue attempt. At 3 a.m., a drawn and teary-eyed Jim McKay, who had been reporting the drama throughout the day as part of ABC's Olympic coverage, announced, "They're all gone."
On October 6, 1973, the Yom Kippur War begins with Egyptian and Syrian forces attacking across 1967 ceasefire lines. Israel survives 18 days of heavy and precarious fighting. On December 1st, 1973, David Ben-Gurion dies and is buried at his home in Kibbutz Sadah Bakur in the Negev. On April 11, 1974, Golda Meir's government, including Defense Minister Moshe Dayan and Foreign Minister Abba Eban, resigns after criticism of the government's handling of the Yom Kippur War. In September of 1978, Begin and Sadat negotiate a framework for peace with Jimmy Carter at Camp David, leading to the 1979 Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty.
Page 42. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace, and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and our coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, apares sukkot shalom aleinu, v'yachol mo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
ושמרו בני ישראל, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. השמיים ואת הארץ, כששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. שמרו בני ישראל, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת
February 1980, the lira is replaced by the shekel. On July 30th, 1980, Basic Law, Jerusalem, capital of Israel, is passed, strengthening the 1967 annexation of the eastern part of the city. June 1982 saw Prime Minister Begin hold talks with President Reagan in the White House. In September 1982, President Reagan offered a Middle East peace plan.
Please rise for the tefillah.
We're on page 46.
Adonai sefanai tifnach kol pi akite ilatecha Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei avoteinu veimateinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei
We continue silently through page 57. We continue with the Hoda'ah on page 58. We are still in our Amidah, so if you'd like to stand, we invite you to do so. You're also welcome to remain seated.
מודים אנחנו לך שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו לעולם ועד. צור חיינו, מגן אישנו, אתה הוא לדור ודור. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our soul which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O God, one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fail, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O Sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'el lehodat.
In March 1983, Chaim Herzog is elected by the Knesset as Israel's 6th president. November 1984 to January 1985 sees Operation Moses fly 7,000 Ethiopian Jews to Israel. July 1985, in the first ruling by an Israeli court convicting Israeli Jews of terrorist involvement, 3 Jewish settlers are convicted of murder, and 12 other defendants are found guilty of committing violent crimes between 1980 and 1984 against West Bank mayors and others.
November 1985, U.S. Navy analyst Jonathan Pollard is arrested in Washington and charged with spying for Israel. January 1986, the new shekel replaces the shekel as Israel's currency. February 1986, Anatoly Sharansky, Soviet Jewish dissident, is freed from a USSR prison after 12 years and arrives in Israel. In September 1986, Israel launches into space the Ofek-1 experimental satellite. In November 1986, a heart transplant is performed in Israel for the first time. Wrapping up the 1980s, and after many of us proudly marched in Washington, in late 1989 saw the start of mass immigration of Jews from the former Soviet Union.
In 1990, Israel and the USSR signed a trade pact after a 23-year break. In March 1990, a breakup of the National Unity Government followed a vote of no confidence in the Knesset. The peace process is effectively put in abeyance. March 1990 saw the U.S. Senate adopt a resolution recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. In August 1990, the U.S. begins to send troops to the Persian Gulf.
January 1991 sees the first Patriot surface-to-air missile batteries arrive in Israel. Civil defense authorities instruct Israelis to begin preparing sealed rooms. The Gulf War begins.
Israel goes into state of alert as war breaks out. By February 1991, the Gulf War is over.
In May 1991, Operation Solomon brings Jews from Ethiopia to Israel. About 14,500 Ethiopian Jews are rescued and airlifted to Israel within 24 hours, just hours before the Mengistu regime collapses. An attempt to end the Arab-Israel conflict culminates in the Madrid Peace Conference in October 1991. In November 1991, Israel ratified the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child.
In 1993, Avram Biram finds an ancient inscription in Tel Dan about the dynasty of King David. It is the first time David's name appears outside the Bible. In April 1993, Israel begins reflooding 6,000 dunams, a measure of land area used in Israel, of Lake Hula, which has dried up in the 1950s. In May 1993, Britain lifts its 12-year-old embargo on arms sales to Israel. In June 1993, the Vatican and Israel established their first ever diplomatic relations. In July 1993, the Israel-Jordan Peace Treaty is signed in a ceremony held in the Arava Valley of Israel, north of Eilat and near the Jordanian border.
Page 60, Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lekol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lekol hashalom. Shalom rav al Israel amcha tasim leolam. Shalom rav al Israel amcha tasim leolam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We pray silently.
עושה שלום במרום
April of 1995, Israel launches its first spy satellite into orbit. October of 95, the Knesset approves the Oslo II agreement. On November 4th, 1995, Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated by Yigal Amir at a peace rally in Tel Aviv. Amir was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. 1995 celebrates the 3,000th anniversary as the capital of the Jewish state. September 98, Netanyahu, Clinton, and Yasser Arafat hold a meeting in the White House, clearing the way for summit talks in October.
In January 2000, Birthright Israel was created with the goal of sending thousands of Jewish young adults to Israel. To date, over 800,000 young adults have participated in the program. In March 2000, Pope John Paul II visits Israel for a historic 5-day visit, during which he visited the holy sites from 3 major religions.
During 2001, it seems fitting that Israel was the only country that had a net gain in the number of its trees in the last 100 years. The ReWalk exoskeleton was invented by Dr. Amit Gaffer. It is a bionic walking assistance system that uses powered leg attachments to enable people who are quadriplegic to stand upright, walk, and climb stairs. Starbucks tried to open stores in Israel, but the coffee in cafes in Israel were so much better that Starbucks closed their store 2 years later. Thank you, Aroma Coffee. Do you dislike invasive procedures like endoscopies? Good thing there is PillCam, a miniature camera that is swallowed like a pill. It travels through the gastrointestinal tract, sending clear images to the physician on its way out of the body.
The second half of the decade saw 2,000-year-old ancient date palm seeds uncovered at an excavation at Masada. They were then planted and bore fruit on a tree named Methuselah. In September 2005, the disk-on-key data storage system was launched. We know it as a USB drive. In 2006, Ehud Shabbatai developed a traffic app on his balcony in Tel Aviv. We know it as Waze. In 2013, it was sold to Google for $1.3 billion. Like to read a book? Israel's tech company Oracle was contacted by Amazon to help develop an e-reader, and the Kindle was born.
We take a moment in our worship to call upon the Holy One of Blessing to enter our very personal lives and to offer us a measure of healing, of body, of mind, of spirit. Here in the Beth Am community, we're praying for healing for Cynthia Baylor, Ed Beck, Rachel Bat Itachana, Jocelyn Dua, Sheila Evans, Brian Geiger, Kenneth Gelberd, Leila Hadjali, Nancy Jacobs, Elaine Katz, David Lieberman, Larry Mance, Gershona Binyamina Batsar Valevi, Chaim Herschel Ben Mendel, Stan Oliver, Sharon Paul, Jim Pettiford, Murray Plen, Revitzer David Rachmiel Ben Sara Valevi, Marcy Siegel, Elliot Simmons, Jane Simon, Eric Stroll, Oz Ben Daphne Vitamir, Jan Tannenbaum, Stan Tesler, Bev Tisdale, Roz Warren, and Erica Seaver Alves. It is I'd like to invite you to add any names to this list, the names of anyone for whom you're praying for healing tonight.
Vajir Badolat, Ophir, Ben Rivka, and Yitzchak, Ben Hava, and also Ebi Ben Ezat. Sheila Rosenberg.
Travis Cook. Travis Cook.
With hope for healing in our hearts, we join together in the singing of Misha Beira, page 253 of your Siddur. May we know healing in our lives, in our families and communities, and in our world soon, soon, and in our day, as together we say,
Amen.
Given what they're coming up for, I should have introduced them. It is my pleasure now to call forward Lisa Provost and Andrea Daly in their capacity as Sisterhood co-presidents to offer some remarks and reflections on this year of sisterhood. And we're very pleased to have you and all of whom you represent here on this Bima tonight. Shabbat Shalom. Please welcome.
Another season comes to a close. We think of all of the fun and camaraderie we have had, wonderful programs and celebrations, both here and at home. Many people here are celebrating milestones, graduations, and simply the fact that spring has finally sprung. A significant, joyous, and relevant milestone is the 75th year of statehood for Israel. So much worth celebrating comes with a struggle, whether it's as grades, job hunting, or the thousands of years the Jewish people struggled and still struggle to protect and defend their state, their home.
Here, as a Jewish community, we work hard with each other to maintain the family and the home that we have here at Beth Am. Sisterhood works diligently in support of our beloved congregation and in social action benefiting the community as a whole by raising money, enhancing spirituality, and creating friendships while making every member feel at home and part of the family. We are honored tonight to join with Brotherhood to celebrate our mutual love for Beth Am, our Beth Am family, and the Jewish community.
Our thanks and gratitude go to the wonderful and dedicated members of our board. Thank you to the committee for this lovely service, Allison Walters, Debbie Niebauer, Steve Chesed, and Bob Cohen. We're also grateful for our amazing rabbis, cantor, and dedicated staff, led by Sherry Turetsky. We couldn't do what we do without your support all year long. Thank you.
It has been an honor and a pleasure to serve as Sisterhood President alongside Lisa. It was easy to take on this position with the support of all of the past presidents and all the board as well. We look forward to another year of fun, adventures, and celebrations, and hope you will join us. We welcome your ideas, participation, and energy. Toda Rabah, and Shabbat Shalom.
And of course, not to be outdone, it is my pleasure to invite forward President of Brotherhood, Steve Rajewski, who similarly has some wonderful Shabbat remarks to share with us. Welcome.
Put my lunch here. Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of Old York Road, Temple-Beth Brotherhood, I want to welcome everyone here tonight. When Helene and I returned to Old York Road, Temple-Beth in 2017, the first thing Rich Wright said to me was, "You're going to be the next Brotherhood president." Sure enough, I started my term in 2019. I am now approaching the end of my term as Brotherhood president. I like to believe that my tenure had been successful, but I'll let the members of Brotherhood decide that. Unfortunately, COVID-19 disrupted many of our plans like everyone else's. We were forced to cancel several events over the last 3 years. However, we have had some successful events during my term, to include 3 speaker brunches, the last a very successful brunch featuring a speaker on auditory health. In April, we held a sold-out murder mystery, and the pastry chef did it, if you didn't already know, and spaghetti dinner. Thanks to the hard work of the members of Brotherhood and the support of Old York Road Temple-Beth staff, it was a tremendous success. We haven't missed a year donating Thanksgiving turkey dinners to 100 families in need through the Klein Branch Food Bank. Once again, we distributed the Yom HaShoah memorial candles to the congregation. We only missed once due to COVID. In 2022, we took our annual pilgrimage to Harold's New York Deli for the first time in 3 years. Brotherhood is currently in the process of planning events for next year. One event we are looking forward to is a trip to the Jewish Heritage Museum in New York City on November the 12th. We still have some planning to do before we can announce the details. As my term as president ends June the 30th, I want to thank the men of Brotherhood for their confidence and support over the last 4 years. I also would like to thank Rabbis Lee and Tornberg and Cantor Zark for their support. We all know that nothing gets done at Old York Road Temple-Beth without Sherry Turetsky and her staff's hard work. I thank them for all their help and support over the last 4 years. I am happy to announce that Art Davis and Stephen Chesed will be taking over as incoming co-presidents of Brotherhood. It is now my honor and privilege to present Brotherhood's Lou Chevitz Man of the Year Award. This recognizes a man who has shown outstanding leadership, dedication, and service to Brotherhood and the Old York Road Temple-Beth community. This year's recipient has been an active member of Brotherhood for many years. He has served on various committees, helped organize events, and has always been willing to lend a helping hand. His dedication to Brotherhood's mission is unwavering, and his enthusiasm is contagious. In addition to his service, he is a role model of Jewish values and ethics. He embodies the spirit of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world, and works tirelessly to make the world a better place. I have known him for many years, and I've always found him to be knowledgeable on many topics. Despite his denial, he is one of the smartest people I know. He is a caring and compassionate person. He is hardworking in his support of Brotherhood and Old York Road Temple-Beth in general. Those of us that follow him on Facebook always look forward to his wine recommendations and Broadway reviews. It is my pleasure to present Brotherhood's Luchevitz Man of the Year Award to Stephen Chesson. Please join me in congratulating him on this well-deserved recognition. Thank you, Steve. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service, dedication, and leadership. I am proud to call you friend. You are an inspiration to us all. Okay, first of all, as you can see, we've already put your name on the plaque, which will be rehung in the lobby. And just so you have something at home, so when people ask, you can say, yeah, it's true, I really got it. We're presenting you with a certificate. Would you like to say something?
This was unexpected. So I've already spoken enough tonight, but thank you. My wife and I, Nancy, we joined Temple-Beth Torah when we first got married in 1972. So we've belonged to synagogues for more than 50 years now. And for those of us who came over in 2004, we were so thankful and happy to find a home here at Old York Road, Temple-Beth. It's always my pleasure to come here and do whatever I possibly can to support this synagogue and the Jewish community. So, Steve, thanks very much. Brotherhood, you guys know who you are. Thanks so much.
On that note, I will take my stuff and leave.
Thank you. Thank you, Lisa and Andrea and Steve, for those wonderful presentations. You know, it's kind of you to offer your thanks to those of us who work here at the synagogue, but you know, I wanted to just take a moment and express my gratitude for everything that Sisterhood and Brotherhood does for us and our community, making so many wonderful things happen, supporting the programming of our synagogue, and making Jewish life come to life in so many special and important ways. You know, you can hire really great clergy, but if people who are part of the community don't have a way to engage personally with the life and the activities of the synagogue and with each other, then you don't have much of a congregation. And so it's really organizations like Sisterhood and Brotherhood that make Beth Am such a vibrant home for so many of us. And I wanted to say Toda Rabbah. We are going to continue our service with a reading that Art Davis will be sharing with us from your packet.
The Iron Dome missile rocket interceptor was developed in 2007 and is the only system of its kind. Implemented in 2011 It has a 97% success rate. In May 2012, Israeli supermodel Bar Raffaeli was named Maxim Magazine's Most Beautiful Woman on Earth for 2012. In July 2012, a group of artists in Netanya created the world's largest mosaic, which was made out of socks, using 12,000 in total.
Yeah, right.
February 2013, Yitiyi Shaina, 22, becomes the first black and first Ethiopian Israeli Miss Israel. She was invited to attend Shimon Peres's gala as guest of President Obama. December 2013, Israeli actress Gal Gadot is announced as Wonder Woman in Warner Brothers' Batman vs. Superman, starring Ben Affleck. The film was released in 2016. April 2015, the organization Women of the Wall read a full-size Torah at the Western Wall for the first time ever. Women were not allowed to pray with Torahs at the wall, and Orthodox men attacked them.
That's for sure. How's it attack them?
May 2018, Israeli singer Netta won the Eurovision Song Contest. May 2019, as the winning country for Eurovision 2018, Tel Aviv hosted the 2019 singing competition. August 2020, the United Arab Emirates became the first Gulf state to establish diplomatic relations with Israel. October 2021, a rare 2,700-year-old private toilet, part of an ancient royal estate from the 7th century BCE, was discovered on the Arman Hanasiv Promenade in Jerusalem.
We are, of course, in the period of the year called the Omer, that period between our escape from slavery in Egypt to the time at which we arrived at Sinai and received the Torah on the holiday of Shavuot. And so it's my pleasure to count the Omer with all of you. We are on page 278, and I invite you to rise. If you'd like, you're welcome to join with me. Hineni muchana umezumenet lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Hayom shloshim v'sheva shehem chamesh shavuot v'shtei yamim la'omer. Today is the 37th day, which is 5 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. We remain standing as we open the Ark for Aleinu on page 282. It's my pleasure to call forward Abby Daly, Cindy Garber, Bonnie Greenwald, and Pearl Jar to open the Ark, page 282.
Shalom,
Good. For that one.
Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Here in the Beth Am community, we remember those whose families are still in Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning. Amy Liebesman, niece of Arlene Mance, and Mildred Sobel, mother of Deborah Finkelstein. We also remember those whose yahrzeits occur this week. Philip Block, Isabel Feldman Borough, Sidney Borough, George Boshin, Robert Brodsky, Verna Bukoff, Sylvia Burstein, Jacqueline Scheifetz, Sylvia Evans, Dorothy Dick Heiser Feldman, Rose Feldman, David Finkelstein, Chana Foreman, Ruth Gilman, Lillian Glassman, Bella Gutman, Marie N. Greenfield, Stella Horowitz, Benjamin Jarr, Michael J., Sam Kirschenbaum, Alan Korn, Arthur Kovnat, Jeanette Lemberg, Andrew Lewin, Mary Martyr, David Marks, Harold Miller, Evelyn Morantz, Ida Needle, Harry Notas, Corrine Older, Maurice Solly Sass, Samuel Shankman, Joseph Scheinholz, Morris Siegel, Rabbi David Sherman, Ida Singer, Moshe Sussman, Abraham R. Tabor, Bertha Wartell, Julian Weinstein, Haley Jennifer Yarmark, and Benjamin Zeft. I invite you to add any names to this list, the names of anyone for whom you're saying Kaddish tonight. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be an abiding blessing. We join together as one congregation in praise of the Holy One with the words of Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalma divrach yuteh v'yamlich malchuteh, b'chaye kon u'yomei kon, v'chaye d'kol beit Yisrael, Ba'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei v'kudusha b'ruchu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'Romah, U'yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and all the world, and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. Amen. You may be seated. It's now my pleasure to call forward Barry Tinkelman, who is going to offer us some announcements and greetings.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. But I must say, I'm glad to see that nobody had to wear a sweater tonight. Thank you, Sisterhood and Brotherhood, for creating an inspiring service celebrating 75 years of Eretz Yisrael, our Jewish homeland. And thank you for all that you do to support our congregation. Social programming, fundraising, subsidizing various programs throughout the years, and building community spirit. And special congratulations, Mazel Tov, to the Louis Chaifetz Man of the Year, Steve Chesson. Welcome to the club. And of course, we thank all the musicians who enhanced our conversation with the Creator tonight. Torah study, led by Rabbi Tornberg, will begin at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning in the TBT Chapel. Rhoda Riba will chant Torah during services, which will begin at about 10 o'clock. We hope to see you upstairs in person, but you can also join us on Zoom. The Beth Am Membership Committee needs you. If you have ideas for growing membership or would like to support the committee in any way, please come to the auditorium on Wednesday, May 17th at 7 p.m. And now for some important messages from tonight's sponsors. Sisterhood Spring Supper, catered by Soraya and featuring Persian dancing, is Thursday, May 18th at 6:30 here in the auditorium. The even better news is you can still register through May 15th. Brotherhood's closing dinner is on Wednesday, June 7th at China Garden Inn in Willow Grove in the Staples Shopping Center. And of course, we hope you'll join us next Friday evening here in the Muller Sanctuary. The weather will be nice, the sun will be shining, and it doesn't set before services are done. So we hope to see lots of you in these luxurious seats at 6 p.m. for a very special service honoring some very special people. Good Shabbos, and be excellent to each other.
March 2023. Israel was ranked the 4th happiest country in the world. Nasim the Nifla Ot for the miracle of rebirth. Eretz Yisrael was the birthplace of the Jewish people. After being forcibly exiled from their land, the people remained faithful to it throughout their dispersion and never ceased to pray and hope for the return to it and for the restoration in it of their political freedom. And I think we should all say, Am Yisrael.
Please rise for Hatikva. You can find the words on page 374.
To Mark Doherty and to our wonderful choir. Thank you so much to Steve Chesson and Bob Cohen and Allison Walters and Debbie Geddes-Niebauer, who put together such a beautiful service. And thank you to all of you for being here and participating in leading your community. Let's greet one another on the other side of this wall. At an oneg, we'll join together in Motzi. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, thank you.
No, thank
All
you.
of our hard work the other evening paid off. We do need the rehearsal, but honey, if I could stay home, I'd stay home.
I'm
I will
sure
come
you
and see
would.